take the front diff bolt out with this back one too, because there's another mount up there. I loosen that one up so then I can stick my pry bar. It lifts up really easy. It's tight. So what I did, I just lifted up this front, and then you could slide the shaft backwards and out. So it's gonna be the same thing. Lift the drive, or the front diff up, slide this yoke in there with this drive shaft, then you'll be able to slide it all the way up, and then set the front diff back down, and then you can slide it into the motor. But before I do that, I did watch a video, and they said to use your original front boot and put it on the rear. Keeps it stiffer, keeps it from being able to flex backwards and push that way and slide out. And that was what my problem was, and why I ended up just wearing the teeth out, just because it was sliding backwards and barely engaging. So when I was in like a deep rut with four-wheel drive, it would start popping because for some reason under a load it wants to push back, and then the teeth start slipping. So if you're in four-wheel drive and you get like bound up really tight and you start hearing something popping on the front, it's more than likely this. So go ahead and switch that boot, because it just lets it flex. But when you're doing the stiff boot, it's stuck there. It still flexes a little bit, but I mean, it's gonna hold it in place a whole lot better. So here's what it looks like when I stuck the original front boot on and got rid of this little flex boot. This is rubber, so it's still gonna flex, but it's just gonna hold it a hell of a lot more secure and locked in on those splines. Well, these little grooves for the rubber to hold it in place, so it can't slide back and end up stripping out again and making your four-wheel drive pop. All right, so what I did was loosen up the clamp, pulled the boot back so I have room to slide this the drive shaft in. I lifted up the front diff, stuck a screwdriver in there just to hold it up in place. High temp disc brake wheel bearing grease on the splines. Just go ahead and shove it in there, wiggle it all the way to the back. It's gonna take a little bit of wiggling and forward pressure to get it to go in place. And see, like, this clamp's catching on it, so I gotta spin it and then keep on going, and then see how it clears now. So now we'll be able to set the front diff down, take the driver out, setting up in place, and bow. Now we can slide this one in. And make sure where your clamp goes, there's a little lip on the boot. It slides. It's in that groove right there. You can kind of see it right there. Make sure it slides in and locks in place. So when you clamp down, it holds it in place. And same like this. See how there's a groove on the rubber boot. You can kind of see it up in there. See that little edge? It just slides up in place and kind of holds it there, so when you clamp down, it has something helping it to hold in place. Now, locked in place, put my clamp, put the other clamps, and I can stick my diff bolts back in. Make sure you tighten that one up, put your motor mount back in, and should be no more popping when I'm in four-wheel drive in a bind, in a rut, trying to get out. Oh, I did forget to mention, on both bolts for your front control arms, both front bolts, you have to loosen them up and shove them back in order to get to the diff bolt, to even loosen it up and to be able to slide it out. So you have to do the left and the right side, the front bolt. Just loosen them up, they'll slide back. And these are, see, because otherwise it was in the way. But these are all 15s, 15 millimeter, so you're good. Motor mount, front diff, front A-arm, front bolt. Once you tighten it all back down, make sure you put your clamps, and you good to go. Back to 4-wheel drive.